This is Michael Tucker, and you're watching the new Legends on Deck podcast with host Brian Koss and David Conde.
For the Mammoths. That was in the second.
Times. And he'll look to go after these.
First pitch curveball in there for a Ramirez goes on the pitch. Combs from his knees, fires down. Good throw. Got him. But also don't want to give away free outs. Brown going on the first pitch. Combs the throw down to second. Into third on the wild pickoff throw. There goes Attilis on the first pitch. Combs from his knees, fires, and it's Perez is on deck. Fedko would be next. Combs, deep fly ball, left field, looking back. Emmett's going to watch it go. It's a two-run blast. Wow. First pitch, and that's a base hit. Castillo stumbles a little. Combs is rushing out of the box. He's going to stretch this into two as it gets all the way to the warning track, and Castillo out.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Legends on Deck podcast. I'm Brian Koss with our co-founder and my co-host, David Conde. Hello,
Hey,
David. And our special guest today is Scott Combs, and he's I'll run through his background here. Scott grew up in Northville, Michigan, which is actually not far from where I grew up. Played college ball at Michigan State and Northern Illinois. He's a catcher and played summer in the United Shore Professional Baseball League this past summer, I believe. Which we've had a previous episode and a couple articles on that league on this website. So that's pretty cool. And just a couple of weeks, he's heading out to California, and he's going to play in the California Winter League. And he's going to tell us about that as we go. But Scott is an ambitious young ball player looking for a break in the business, and he's working hard down here in Florida, I understand.
Yes, sir. It's a little bit better than Michigan at this time for sure. But thank you guys so much for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, welcome, Scott.
Definitely. And so Brian and I, episode 22, so it's going to be going on for a year now, and we're always looking for that great story. It's something that we can kind of share to our followers. Hey, look at the next star in the game, or someone that's trying to get into the game or further along. So we're always trying to, Brian is the one that kind of finds some of the guests, and I was out, with my son at the batting cage. We happened to just go last minute to the cages, and Scott came in on the side, and I'm always, as a coach and a dad, sometimes the kids don't listen or don't, oh yeah, Dad, we know it all, whatever. And so you started practicing on the side, and I just told my son, take a peek, see how, you actually were working out and stretching, and the fact that your position as a catcher, my son's a catcher, and you were doing all these stretches and everything, and I'm like trying to gauge them to look at you, because I always tell them to do the same. And then you started, doing, working out. We just kind of like chatted a little bit and kind of told me a little bit about what you do. And I said, well, as you're talking to me and I'm training him, I started thinking, hey, this might be a good guy to get on the show. So here we are. on this show, and I'm thankful for you to be down here with us. Ready to talk about your journey in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a crazy coincidence bumping into you, and then even crazier, you were like, "Well, check out the Twitter," and then I swear, like a week before
Oh
I
yeah,
even
that's
bumped into
right.
you, we somehow you guys followed me on Twitter. I followed back, and we already had a connection. So it was crazy, but no, yeah, absolutely. I'm very very happy to be doing this. It is my first podcast, so go easy on me, guys.
There you go. Don't worry about it.
That's
But
perfect.
All good.
thank you very much.
So Brian mentioned in the opening that you're from Michigan. Here we are in sunny Florida. Well, freezing sunny Florida. So
Don't say that. Not freezing.
well, compared to you Michiganers, to us, I'm a New Yorker, born
Yeah.
in New York, but been here since '06, and my blood stands out. So anything below 70 or 75, I'm freezing.
Yeah.
But what brought you to Florida to come down here this time?
So originally it was just my parents, they have a place down here. We've been coming down here for, I want to say this is about the fourth year we've been coming down here. And we're staying right next to FGCU, so we kind of, just kind of bumped into some of the guys over there, the coaches, head over there, do some stuff on their field and all the time, and they've been totally cool with us coming out there. And luckily at this point, so now being out of college and being a professional, I kind of got in further touch with like the weight room guys and stuff like that, and they've let me come in their weight room, and which is awesome. It's brand new, it's sweet. So really just the fact that we've been coming down here during the winter, because obviously it's freezing. You said it's freezing here. It's freezing in Michigan. So we come down here, and it's been, I mean, nothing but awesome, because it's warm. So
So you say you come down with your parents. How often have your parents traveled to Florida? Is it just, are they snowbirds, or they just
they are
like,
snowbirds. Yeah,
yeah.
I was. I didn't want to. I didn't want to put them out there like that, but they definitely are snowbirds.
That's good. We welcome the snowbirds,
Yeah,
because they bring the business. They
yeah,
come down and hang out with us,
yeah,
and then the
yeah.
summertime they go back, to their weather.
They've had enough of the cold weather, so
Well,
I don't blame them whatsoever. But it's awesome to be able to come down here, even throughout being in college. During the off season or the winter season of, you know, uh, Christmas and then New Year's and stuff. Being down here and being able to do stuff outside is an incredible advantage over, just being inside a facility.
yeah. So give us an idea a little bit about your background in the game. When did it start? As the first time you picked up a bat and a glove, when did that happen? And then to the point where you are right now.
I've always been told, so my dad played a little bit of professional baseball as well. So I've always been told that right when I was born, he put a baseball right in my crib. So that's what I've been told. And growing up, I played multiple sports. I probably started baseball when started travel baseball probably when I was 5, playing 8U, I was terrible. I mean, I was so bad, not ready for it, but it was good. But and then I really got into basketball and football as well. And for a while, I thought I was gonna try to play basketball. Like I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Obviously, I really liked baseball, but as I kind of got older, I realized that I wasn't as athletic as some people out there on the basketball court. So I was like, you know what, maybe I should try this baseball thing. So I played travel ball growing up, obviously, for a bunch of different teams. Like it was always in Michigan. I don't know how it is here, but in Michigan, it was kind of like there was guys who would play on a certain team, and then you would get picked up for a couple tournaments with another team, and like you would just kind of be mixing around. So I kind of did that for a little bit throughout grade school, and then I went to high school at it's called Divine Child. It's in Dearborn, and the head coach at that time of the baseball team had also coached USA Baseball for a little bit. So it was it was a program that was like one of the best in the state by far. They had multiple draft picks out of high school, a ton of college signings. I mean, this guy was a legend in Michigan. His name was Tony DeMar. So I got in there, was lucky enough to play 4 years of varsity there. again, my freshman year, not ready for it, stunk. I remember my first game catching, I caught there was another kid on the team who was committed to Michigan State, and I caught him, and he was throwing mid 90s, and I'm a 14-year-old freshman, not ready for it whatsoever. And balls are hitting my glove, falling out. The coach is yelling at me. He's like, "What are we doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know where I am right now. This is crazy." But luckily enough, it got good. Started to come around my sophomore year, got more comfortable. Junior year obviously was pretty good, and then senior year I really saw the jump of being ready to play into college. So it was good. But
Where did you go to college at?
so out of high school, I went to Michigan State. I went there for 4 years, graduated, and then I grad transferred eventually to Northern Illinois. But yeah, my college experience kind of wild, like a crazy one. So I went in my freshman year. I went in to Michigan State. I was like a late recruit because I was kind of a late bloomer. Like I feel like I was pretty good my junior year, but my senior year is where I really started to kind of separate myself. And so my senior year, I actually got committed to Michigan State, and then they told me, they were like, "Hey, we already have a catcher, but we would like you to come in. And we don't know what's going to happen the first year. Like, you might redshirt. We're not sure yet." And I was totally fine with that. Going into it, I was like, "This is a great program. This is a big time baseball. Like, I'm cool with doing that if I have to." And then 2 weeks before the season, we were getting ready, and I felt like I had competed pretty well. And then I took a foul ball off the foot in live at bats, and broke my foot into my toe, my big toe, and my foot. So they were kind of just like, "Hey, we're just going to go the redshirt route." And I was like, that makes sense to me. I would have missed 6 weeks. So, so my freshman year, I redshirted. The next year I started to, break into the lineup a little bit. I was catching mostly Sundays, which was good, but obviously I was eager to do more. My sophomore year, I was same type of thing, catching one or two games a weekend, a couple midweeks here and there, and then I was, my junior year, I was like, okay, I need to step it up. I need to be ready to start, and I was ready to start, and I finally felt like I got my opportunity, and I was playing very, very well, and then of course COVID happened, so we were down in Florida. I had just come off of one of my best weekends of college by far. We got back. We had been traveling. Everybody was exhausted because cold weather state. First couple of weekends, you're traveling. You're going everywhere. You're going to Florida. You're going to Arizona. Everywhere. So we had just got back from traveling a ton, and we were all ready for a little bit of a break because we were just going to Indiana this time instead of taking a plane. We were just going to have a couple hour bus ride. And I remember when COVID happened, everybody was like, "Oh, we might get a weekend off. This actually might be kind of good." Everybody's, and then it just went all downhill from there. The season's canceled. Everybody's like, "Wow!" But and then it got a little bit even crazier for me. So I was post COVID. Obviously no one had any idea what was going to happen. So I kept training. I was like, maybe summer ball will happen. Maybe it'll die down. So I was training. Had a little bit of arm issues. And I remember I was throwing to bases, and I threw into second base, and I was like, "Oh, that felt weird." And I was like, "All right, let's just try a couple more." Threw a couple more. They didn't really come out good. So I was like, "All right, I'll just take a couple of days off, see how it feels." Took a couple of days off, went to go see the doctor, got an MRI, found out I partially tore my UCL. The original treatment was a PRP shot, so it's really just plasma from the blood, and they try to inject it in there. It's kind of 50-50 with a PRP shot. It may work, it may not. For me, it didn't. So yeah, I was stuck with either you get surgery or you try to work through it. And I tried to work through it originally. It was very painful. So I had to get surgery. Got surgery on my partially torn UCL. I was under the impression. So it wasn't Tommy John. It was the new one. It's called internal brace. So instead of a full repair or reconstruction, they do a repair.
Hmm.
So I was under the impression that it was only going to be about 6 to 8 months. This is what they told me, and I had a little bit of complications with that. I was stuck from about 30 degrees, which is like I was stuck from like right here to like right here for a year. So that last year where I was at Michigan State, I medically redshirted again, so I didn't play the whole year, and so I basically lost 2 full seasons.
So this was during 2021 then.
This was 2021. Yeah, the year after, I thought. I mean, I thought I was going to be ready. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't even throw the ball from home to the pitcher's mound.
Wow.
So the crazy thing about that was, I mean, I honestly never thought I was going to be able to play baseball fully again. Like I was like, I don't know what to do. Everybody, I was in the training room for hours a day. I mean, these guys are taking my arm and basically sitting on it, trying to straighten it out. And I'm in excruciating pain for hours a day. I mean, it was, I had never seen anything like it. They said it's very rare and it happens, but I was, I didn't think, like I said, I didn't think I was ever going to play baseball again. After the season, my coach told me, he was like, "Hey, like, we really love having you on the team. We would love for you to have you back, but I mean, you can't throw. I don't really know what your role would be." And I was like, I completely understand. I mean, what am I supposed to tell him? I can't throw. But I thought it was in my best interest to, finish out there, graduate, and then grad transfer. So after that year, that was my senior year. I finished out school, graduated from Michigan State, went into the portal, got some attention pretty early, which was good. I was super happy about that, and I wound up at Northern Illinois. Went through the fall, was the exact same. Still couldn't really throw that well. It was getting a little bit better, but couldn't really throw. After the fall, got insanely lucky that that we found a doctor in Chicago, which is only about 40 minutes from Northern Illinois. That is like a world-class elbow specialist. And he took a look at it and he was like, "We can do it this Thursday. I can give you a release. You'll be back to normal. And it's a 6-week recovery." And I mean, that was a miracle. So I got done with the fall, got the surgery, 6 weeks, banged it out, got back and was just fully healthy for the season, and finally just one regular year of college. I felt like I played my best baseball I've ever played in my life, so I was just ecstatic about that. But sorry if I'm rambling on a little bit.
No, it's good.
No, we know
it's a crazy
story.
It's a crazy story. I mean, it honestly is just like I said, I every day I wake up and I get to do this. I am so thankful because I really, for about a year, I thought I'm never going to be able to play baseball again. But
this is time. Go ahead.
No. So you say your dad played professional ball. Like, how did he help you along this whole process? Because he's been in the game, he kind of understands it. Is there anything that he was able to do to kind of help you, even mentally, through this process?
I'll tell you what, everybody's going to say this, that their dad is their hero and their favorite player and everything. Objectively, I have never met anybody that knows the game and knows how to deal with players and people better than him in my life. He knows absolutely everything about the game and knows how to deal with it, knows how to, how many, there's countless nights where I'd call him and I'd be like, "Dad, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do." And he would talk me down. He'd be like, "Look, there's a problem. We're going to find a remedy. We'll fix it." So, I mean, he's been, I can't even put into words what he's done for me. It's incredible. But yeah, I mean, obviously, and then the baseball side as well. He's been through it all. I mean, he's had 8 to 10 surgeries himself.
Wow.
He's been through a ton.
What position did he play?
He was a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can that's well, not the fact that he went through that, but he was able to kind of say, "Okay, I've been through it. I'm going to help you out. Your body will get you where you need to be."
Yeah, even then, like exactly how he is. He would I'm going into my first surgery. I'm as nervous as could be. He's like, dude, what are you worried about? I've been through 10 of these. You can do one. I was like, all right.
So this is time frame. So you go to 2021, you transfer into Northern Illinois, and then you play the 2022 college season there.
Yep.
Okay. And we'll get into that. We can get into some of that a little bit more. But then this summer you played.
Yep.
You played at the United Shore Professional League.
Yep.
Okay.
And before that, I played. So I didn't know, because I had talking to my advisor at the time, agent. I was talking to him, and I thought there was a pretty decent shot that I could get a free agent signing after the draft.
Yeah.
And so I was still playing post college summer ball, because they were like, just go down here, keep getting at bats, keep you keep.
Okay, so you played college
stats.
summer ball too.
I played college, so I played the college season last year.
Yep.
I played college summer ball for about half the summer, and then I only played about 15, maybe 18 games in the USPBL, because I was a late, it was just kind of how it worked out late after not signing.
Where'd you play college summer ball?
I mean, I played in almost every league, but this past one that I played in last year was the Appalachian League, and it was I don't know if you guys have heard about the draft league that they just made.
Yeah,
but it's like the exact same as that now, like the MLB. It's like MLB ran,
mm-hmm.
and that was the best summer ball I've played in. I mean, I was going down there thinking because summer ball is obviously good, but it's a mix of guys, and sometimes it's like, it's not great. And I go down there, and the first game I get there, there's a lefty from NC State throwing 96, and I was like, what? It's like, whoa! I was like, yeah. This is crazy. But yeah, that was some of the best players I've ever played with were in that league by far. I mean, it was a very, very, very competitive and good league. So
you kept yourself going through it, summer ball, and then the professional league for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll get a little bit later in the interview. We'll get to where you're going from here.
Sure.
My next question is you and I chatted a little bit, because I'm from Michigan as well. I've been down here in Florida for a while, but I grew up there, and I'm familiar with the limitations to the baseball season up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's a reason that so many ball players are coming out of Florida, California, Texas, just because the ability to play, and that's why you're down here doing some training. But give our listeners, a lot of them are in Florida, kind of the feel for what preparing for the baseball season is like in the cold white north.
Well, you definitely have to be comfortable with being cold, because especially in college. So in college, we would, I mean, even if there's snow on the ground, we'd find, at Michigan State, we would go out on the, excuse me, we would go out on the turf football field and just set up a field out there and play live out there. Or at IU, there was a turf field. We would set it up on the practice football field there too. So it's just, I mean, it was really just finding places to do stuff and just doing it no matter what, even if it's snowing, even if it's raining. You just got to be comfortable with it. That's the reality of it. On the flip side, professionally, or if you're just doing stuff on your own when you're home from winter break, for me personally, I was lucky enough. So my dad has his own facility, which I can't ask for anything better. So, we go in there, there's cages full infield, but, I just, same thing, just getting your work done wherever you can. Just texting buddies that you have in the area that also play, being like, hey, let's find somewhere, let's just get a cage, find a machine, flip to each other if we have to. And it's really just using whatever you can to do better. I mean, there's plenty of times where I had to get throwing in, and I would go into the facility and just throw against the wall. So, I mean, it's just, and I know where I work out now at home is it's all all pro guys, like big time pro guys too. Like one of the biggest names is DJ LeMay works out there.
Yep.
And he like the same thing. Like I go in there and he's doing throwing against the wall or ground balls off the wall and stuff. And it's like you really just work with what you got. I mean, if you can't go outside, there's 6 feet of snow. You find somewhere and you just kind of
Right.
Or you just roll up some snowballs.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And you just see how far you can throw it, and you're working your body out.
I'll tell you, it's funny down here, David, and you grew up in New York, and my kids growing up down here, I was just out before I got on this podcast. My son and I were up at the cages. He's 7. We're hitting balls, and there's a little field next to it, and I'm throwing them fly balls and hitting them grounders and stuff. And I'm like, what is it? It's January. And it's 58 outside, but that's like, April up there. So
people would kill for that in Michigan right now.
So
I mean
it's a totally different thing. And like, we're starting. We have Little League evaluations next week. So
wow,
we wouldn't even consider that up there, right? It would be like insane. It's like basketball season. Like, hang out in the gym. If you're a hockey player, you're playing hockey.
You're in the rink, yeah, exactly.
Yep. Listen, we start January 20th. We get the field open finally, and I'm going to tell my team, if it's 45 to 60 degrees outside, we're not going on the field yet. I'll let you know when we get. So they're going to be running.
I wish I was on your team. Why did I should have been on your team?
Too cold for me. I have to sit in my car and let them.
There you go.
That's crazy.
So you talked about your catcher, okay? So I know my son, since he was in Little League, I mean, maybe T-ball. He said, "Dad, I want to catch." He's my youngest son, and my oldest son, I don't think he ever took on to catching, but my little one said he just want to catch. So he's scrawny, skinny. I'm like, okay, try it. He just ran with that thing, and he's, slim now, but he's kind of bulked up a little bit. He's 12 years old, but it's a difficult position. I never thought that he would take it on the way he has. I mean, he's like you, a late bloomer. He's having to figure out the throw, which is normally kids are used to winding their arm and throwing from the position from the outfield. Now it's more of a come up throw type of thing. But it is a tough position to do. So kind of explain, what is it to be a catcher? What does it mean to be a catcher? Like if someone was if you met a kid for the first time and he said, "I want to be a catcher," you've been doing it. What are the things that he needs to know to be a catcher?
You really just gotta I would say you just gotta have a advanced knowledge of the game. Like you have to know what is happening in the game at all times. Like you're the quarterback, you're the point guard. You need to know, you need to be back there. You're seeing the whole field. You need to be the one in charge of, okay, this is where everybody's supposed to be at this point, and it's on me to get them there. And that goes for infielders, that goes for outfielders, and the biggest relationship, obviously, in baseball is the pitcher catcher. I mean, you need to know your pitcher not only as a baseball player, you need to know them as a person, because there's plenty of times where I'll go out to the mound, a guy's struggling, and I need to know if I need to get on that guy, or I need to be the one that kind of talks him through it, like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. Don't worry about it. Everything's good. Because guys respond differently to that. I've had plenty of guys who tell me, come out there and basically yell at me, because that'll get me fired up and I'll get going. And it's like, but you need to be the one to figure that out. You need to, kind of dissect these guys a little bit to where you need to figure out, okay, this is a guy I need to get on, or this is a guy I need to, kind of talk down and, be with a little bit more. But I mean, the biggest thing for me is like, especially going up through the ranks, I mean, and then you start to lose more of like coaches calling the game and stuff. Like you need to have an advanced knowledge of, okay, this is where I succeed because my knowledge for the game is above everybody else's. And I mean, that just happens through, experience, of course. But studying, watching the game. I mean, that's people always talk about it. Just sitting there watching an MLB game, you can pick up on so many little things that you're like, okay, I can implement that for sure. And I just think the biggest part of it is knowledge of the game for sure.
And what would you say is the demand on the body physically and also mentally? Because I always told my kids when I'm coaching them, this game is 90% mental. I'm sorry. If you're not mentally in it, you're not going to do as well as you think. So at that position, tell us a little bit about, the demand on that, on your body and your mind.
Yeah, so I always was kind of, I was like, oh, I'm fine. Like I could do it. Like I could do it. And then at Northern Illinois, we got down to just me. Like we had a couple injuries, and it was just me. And we were playing 4 games a weekend. So I was catching 4 games in one weekend, and that's where I started to notice this is like your body takes a toll, like a big time toll. And it's not only your body, like you're going through your same thing, like you're trying to be so focused on the game defensively that when you get up to the plate and you're hitting, you may not be focused as much on your at bat because you have to do so much on the defensive side. And it's a real thing. I mean, people always talk about it and you might not think it's a real thing, but it's when you're putting so much into the defensive side, and like me personally, I as a catcher, that's my number one priority is, I mean, offense is great, but I mean, I need to be stealing strikes, blocking balls, throwing guys out no matter what. Like, I don't care if I go 0 for 8. Like, I need to be solid as could be behind the plate and help my pitcher in any way I can. So when that's the biggest, focal point, the offense can take a toll. Your body can take a toll, but I mean, that's part of it. That's the position. I mean, if you're going to sign up to do this, you got to know that's going to be the thing that you might take a toll as your offense. And if that's not for you, then this might not be your position. It's a little harsh, but that's the reality of it.
Have you ever learned how to speak Spanish?
I'm trying. I actually am learning right now.
Do you know why I'm kind of going with that right now?
That makes a lot of sense.
You're the main guy in the field, and you got to go out to talk to your pitcher.
Yeah.
And you got to get him riled up.
I've had these conversations, and I actually am. I have the Babbel app on my phone. I'm trying to learn. I took some Spanish in high school. Let me tell you, if you don't like continue with it, it goes pretty quick.
Yeah, you got to keep it up.
There's words I see on there, and I'm like, I should know this, but I have no idea what this means. but I'm trying. Yeah. That's a big part of it for sure.
Yeah. So So if you had my son, who doesn't listen, I think you kind of mentioned something in the cage about listening to your dad. You have my son and you were side by side.
Yeah.
What would be the first thing that you would tell him to do before putting the gear on, and then after putting the gear
on? Your son. You said your son was 12, right?
Yes.
I would say there's a big difference between your son that would be 12 and your son when he's 15. So if I told him one thing right now when he's 12, I'd say, no matter what you're doing right now, have fun. Just have fun with what you're doing. If you enjoy it and you like going to the cage with your dad and hitting, go do it. Have fun. If that's not for you, if you like shooting hoops or you like, catching the football, running around, if that's your thing, at that age, pre-high school, do whatever, if it's sports or anything, do whatever you're really, really passionate about, because that's what it's going to take. I mean, you have to love what you're doing. If he was 15, almost in the recruiting thing, I would say, I would say just do everything you possibly can to, fine tune your game in any way that you can, like you said, like we were saying, by any means, even up north and stuff, like just find any way, work as hard as you possibly can, and just study the game, learn the game, especially as a catcher, like have a game plan, go into it. And, if that doesn't work, be adaptable and just be very, on the same page with your pitcher. And the pitcher catcher relationship is, like I said, the most important thing. I think as a catcher, my number one job is to make the pitcher as comfortable as they can be on the mound, no matter what.
So after this, when we put this out, my
Yeah.
son's gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And my whole team of catchers are gonna watch it because everything you
Yeah.
just said is exactly what I feel like, at 12, 13, before you get to high school, have fun and enjoy being a kid. And
Yeah.
then when you get to high school, you really want this, you got to put that time in. You got to put
Yeah,
the work in
exactly.
because and like my son sometimes gets intimidated by, oh, this kid's better than me. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. If I mean, like I said, I was a late bloomer. I trust me, I went through plenty of that where there was other guys that I know and stuff committing early and stuff like that. And I personally, I felt like I was even better. And I was like, dude, what's going on? Like, I feel like I have more skill than this guy. But if there's one thing that I've learned, especially through college recruiting and pro ball, it's that everybody has their own journey. You do not know, you don't really know half of what's going on behind the scenes. Yeah. So you just gotta, you just keep working. You keep doing everything you possibly can to put yourself in the best position. So, I mean, all it takes is one person. It takes one person to see you. And then once they see you, you could have the opportunity of a lifetime.
So that actually segues perfectly into my next question, which was about the recruiting process and your experience with it. So you mentioned that you were kind of late to the game on it, and you watch guys at, it seems from everything that I read and everything I've been observing recently is the recruiting process is starting younger and younger.
Yep.
It's hard to imagine like a 14-year-old kid or a 15-year-old kid making a commitment to a college, but it's happening.
Yeah.
What was your experience like in that way? How did you end up deciding on Michigan State? Obviously, it's a big school, D1 school in the state of Michigan. So, you're playing for one of the big two teams in Michigan.
Yeah. For me, like I said, it was super late. I mean, I felt like I had good interest from a bunch of schools, but for a little bit, like into my junior year, like I said, I feel like I was kind of in between, like a mid major and then like a school like Michigan State. So I felt like I kind of got slighted a little bit with some of the mid major schools where like I think what I had kind of heard was like I think they knew that like some of the bigger schools were interested. And that they didn't really like pursue it as much, but like I wasn't getting as much interest as they thought from the bigger schools. So, but yeah, it was a obviously stressful and hard process for a while. But then I had one of the biggest parts for me. So there's this thing that they run in the Dominican. So I went to the Dominican in high school. Michigan was there, Michigan State. There was one other school and I can't even remember, but those were the two that I was interested in, of course. Yeah. But I got to go down there and some of their assistant coaches were there, and it was technically like a camp. Yep. But I got to play for like a week in front of them, and I think that was one of the biggest things for me because they actually got to see me play for an extended period.
Yeah.
And then not just one game, not going to a tournament and being like, oh, this kid had a good day, I got to perform for them for a solid period. So that kind of came about. I kind of had some talk with Michigan, but then it kind of took off a little bit more with Michigan State. The hitting coach kind of came out, watched me work out a little bit. He actually came to our facility and just watched me, which was awesome. But he watched that for a little bit, and then he called me a little later. They offered, and I just kind of, I called my parents and I was like, "What do you guys think?" And they were like, "I don't know how you could pass that up." I mean, I was always kind of a Michigan State fan, so it was kind of
well, that was easy,
kind of like a dream, a dream school of like I was kind of like, how do I say no to this? So,
well, that's cool. That I was thinking, so things that I've been hearing from people is the camps are key.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I wasn't expecting you to get in front of them in the Dominican of all.
No, yeah,
you guys left Michigan. Everybody left Michigan to go to the Dominican.
It was
for them to have to
thing,
see you.
But yeah.
The camps like gives you your point. I think is perfect that it gives them a little bit more time to look at you. I mean, because they have all these college showcases all over the place, and like you mentioned, tournaments going on, in different parts of the country. And, they have these weekend showcases. Well, watching a guy play 2 or 3 games over a weekend, it might be different than watching a guy play throughout the course of a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
on the camp side too, I would say, so I was, when I was at Michigan State, even at Northern Illinois for 1 year, I would work all the camps. Like I would do it, and I would talk to all the coaches, because like I was like, I mean, you make money for that, so I was like,
there you go,
sign me up. But
right.
no, I mean they're a real thing. They will come to camps with especially if they have a prior knowledge of you. They will say, come to our camp. We want to see you on campus. We want to see, you, even if it's just you checking out the campus for yourself. Like they want that interaction of the camp, and it's not, there's, it's not just a money grab. Like they're not just having them to like supply for their program. It's a real thing. Like you can go to a camp and get an offer from a camp. So
sure. I mean, they want to see if you're a good fit, and
exactly,
that, right?
Exactly. And they want to see how you interact with, like, a lot of the players. Like when you're there, they want to see how you interact with the players and stuff like that. So
right. Yeah, that's perfect. I think that you played a couple summer ball, a couple different summer ball leagues, you said. What's the we've talked to the other side of the equation, right? We've talked to the collegiate summer league teams and how they go out and they go recruit kids, right? So what's it like from the player standpoint? How do you decide where you go?
I mean, honestly, for me and for how it was at Michigan State, I know that like when we would, it was a little bit different at NIU because I was already kind of done, and I like just kind of like got in contact with them and played almost post college just to keep playing. Yeah. But at Michigan State, it was like we would literally come in the first meeting, and they would have a sheet of paper, and it'd say like, okay, where do you want to play summer ball? And you'd write it down, and they'd say, I will contact them for you, and we'll see if they can get you in, or
cool.
If they can't, we'll get you somewhere where we know is a good league, good team. But I mean, that's literally you would literally come in and write it down on a piece of paper, which sounds crazy, but I mean that's what I mean.
Well, there's a lot of leagues, there's a lot of teams out there, and you guys are probably not like, you're just looking to find a spot to play that wants you on the team, and you're going to get a good experience.
Exactly. And there's, I mean, especially, and there's different stages of summer ball. If you're a rising junior and you've had a couple good years, you want to be in like a Cape or like a draft league, something like that. And it's like, okay, I need to, summer ball could be big for me. But if you're like my first year when I was a freshman and I had just redshirted, like I just need to go somewhere to get reps. Like I need to play. Like I need to get as many reps as I can against against college competition as I can. So
no, it makes sense. What was your favorite spot? Did you go out throughout the country, the different places that I know some guys stay local and play. Were you able to go see some cool places?
Or? So I actually played for my first 2 years. I went back to this one place. It was in the what was the name of the league? I can't even think of the name of the league. But the Great Lakes League. The Great Lakes League.
Yeah.
But I was in the Southern Ohio Copperheads, and the first year I was there, we won it. So I was like, we won the league. So I was like, oh, I'm going back. Like there was 3 of us who were like, we're going back. Like it was awesome. Like we had a great time. So I played there for 2 years. So I've had probably the best summer experience and then one of the worst. And I'm not going to say where the worst one was, but it was just like I don't want to slight anybody, but it was
yeah, we might have them on the show at some point.
Yeah. No, I mean it was like just terrible. Like, and it wasn't anything about the league. It was just like a super small town. Like it was like you're living in a place where there's one bathroom for like 6 different people, and it's like there's nothing going on around there, and it's
they're just giving you the minor league side of baseball.
No, I know.
That's true. That's all you get to look. That's what you get to look forward to soon. Yeah,
that is true. I guess that is true. But it was like I was like, no, I called my coach. I was like, Coach, this is terrible. And he was like, no, we'll get you in a league around here. Like, you're fine. And I was like, that sounds good to me because this was awful. But
So,
no, yeah, I mean, summer
yeah,
ball
go ahead.
wise, it's kind of like I said, it's kind of hit or miss. But I mean, it can be. That was where I originally got my first like pro like interest was in summer ball. I got like went to the All-Star game of the Great Lakes League. There was a bunch of scouts there. Got into the draft prospect link. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's kind of like teams like send you stuff to like send like pre-draft and um but yeah, it could be huge. Like it could be completely life changing for you because I mean you might not play at all on your school team and you could go to summer ball, play really well, really well, and they see the tools and they'll take you,
Yeah.
which is wild.
I guess that's good for when you might not have a coach. And I'm not saying you didn't have one, but you might not have a coach that really puts the player out there, or maybe like you said,
Yeah,
gives the
yeah.
playing time, and then you just go, you get into one of the leagues, and they're like,
Takes
"Where
you
have you
off.
been all this time?" Well, my
Yeah.
coach is
Mhm.
blind, I guess. He doesn't see.
And scouts go. I mean, I've seen tons of scouts just at summer ball games, and you're like, I didn't think you'd be here, but they're. I mean, that's why you got to play as well as you can at all times, because you have no idea who's there.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of heading out this, I guess in a few weeks, you're heading out now to your next adventure,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all out to California. So you're leaving the nice, beautiful, sunny state of Florida and kind of going to Cali, right? To
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's as sunny or hot over there. It might be cold. I'm not sure. They've been
It's
getting a
definitely
lot of
not
rain.
cold. It's not cold.
Palm
But
Springs is pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
tell us,
I've heard good things.
yeah,
Sorry, go
tell
ahead.
us about a little bit about that league and what you're hoping to achieve.
So I've heard only great things about the league. It's a mix of guys who are trying to break into professional ball, and then guys who are, have been same thing as me, like kind of like a year or so into professional ball, and then they're trying to like move up in the ranks. Um, so for me, my ultimate goal obviously would be, and there's a lot of affiliated teams out there, would be to sign with an affiliated team. Um, but just uh, if that doesn't end up happening, then to sign with probably one of the three bigger leagues of like independent ball, which would be the Atlantic, American, or Frontier. And so, I mean, I've heard that almost every independent team is out there, and there's I think upwards of 20 affiliated teams out there. So I think I mean, I don't think you could go wrong going out there. I mean, you do have to pay a little bit, which is, that's just how it is, but they house you, they feed you. Um, you play games almost every day, and the worst case scenario, you're getting reps at this time. So I mean, there's not a ton of people who are getting reps at this time pre spring training. So
How
that's
long is
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so how long does that season last?
I think it's only like 3 weeks. It's like January 23rd to like February 18th or something.
Oh, okay. So it's like a month
Yeah,
long process. So
it's
it kind
nothing.
of
It's
leads
nothing
into
crazy.
spring training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Makes
It's
sense.
nothing crazy. It's nothing like huge. It's just
Yeah.
it's more of like an extended pro day, to be honest.
Makes sense. Get you in front
Yeah.
of all the people you want to be in front of.
Exactly.
Very
Did you
cool.
have to try out for that, or is that something you just pay into?
I think you can it's like semi invite, I think, but the guy who like one of the head guys of the USPBL has been doing it for a while, so he, if you're in the league, he kind of said like, if you want to do this, let me know, and
That's
we'll
awesome.
get you in there. Yeah,
Very cool.
That's awesome to have that connection. Yeah, I'm looking at their site, and yeah, they have many big time teams here. Not the Mets. The Mets not get involved more. I see the Yankees are there.
yeah. There you go.
I had to plug the Mets there, and when
The
they saw
The Mets
Washington,
have signed everybody already. They don't.
yeah,
They
they don't
don't.
need anybody
They
else.
don't need
Yeah,
anybody
yeah.
else.
So once you're done there, and you kind of let's just say they make the decision or make so what are your goals for 2023? Like what would you love to have 2023 be? This is your journey. You come to this point. You're at the cusp. You had your ups and downs, but what are you looking at 2020 to be for you?
um, Obviously, like I said, I would love to be an affiliated ball, but even if that doesn't happen, I just want a solid, good season. And not just for me, like a successful season of winning, and just really, I mean, to be honest, I don't have absolute set goal because I haven't been through a full pro season yet. Like it could be, it could be the worst time of my life. I have no idea. I mean, so I'm really just looking forward to, you know, just getting a little taste of how it is and like just going out there and competing as best as I can, no matter what, and winning games.
Awesome.
Well, I think we definitely want to keep track of you throughout the season. Maybe you'll be like our showcase guy for the year. You know,
Cool.
Want to see how this you know, this league turns out and what that turns into for you going into the spring.
Thank you. Yeah,
So
awesome. I would love to have you guys follow. Thank you.
Well, I think what's great about you is that and I go back to the same thing being a late bloomer. You know, you have kids, and I'm not knocking this. You know, our kids start off in travel ball at a younger age. You know, Brian laughs because, you know, I have my own reservations against all
he
of
always
this.
goes back to it. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's true. But you're the prime example of what I always say. You know, that you have kids that might start out at a younger age doing travel ball, and then they go on and on and on. And some kids maybe stop at a certain point, or maybe they don't have, they just aren't going to get any better than what they are, and they might just quit, but they've been playing it since they're so young. And they have other kids that maybe have played just on occasion, like you did different sports. And then say you decide, hey, I'm just going to just go with baseball. And then, you know, it's a later part of your life. And as a young kid, you're 15, you know, high school, whatever, all of a sudden you start to take it on and the talent is there. You just didn't realize it was there. You know, I always look back to Lorenzo Kane. I believe that he started at 14, 15 years old. And you have all these dads dreaming of their kids being major leagues at 7, you know, because they have them in all these different, you know, leagues and stuff. But I think your journey is exactly where there's going to be a lot of kids that aren't sure. And if they just put the time and effort like you did, like you said, you jump from one year to the next. And I think is when it clicks for you, when you kind of realize, hey, I'm good at this. You know, I can do this sport. You know, I can actually, you know, be a catcher and be successful at it. So I think your journey is what is basically a lot of kids are going to be in your spot, even when I was thinking of what they want to do.
Exactly. And I think, you know, there's only even in the major leagues, there's only so many Mike Trouts, you know, there's only so many Aaron Judges, you know, everybody else is, you know, there's that top 1%, and then everybody else is still in that, you know, top percent. But you gotta grind, you gotta work for everything that you have. I mean, you gotta grind just to maybe even be there. So it's, you know, and I feel like that's the majority of people. I mean, if you're ultimately skilled, then you kind of have I wouldn't say an easier path at all, but it's just, you know, you can kind of go off those skills. If you have to, you know, grind for it and do that like extra work just to be there, then I feel like that's a lot more people than people realize, you know, even at the highest levels.
Well, I would also. Oh, sorry.
No, I get it. Keep cutting to
I just wanted to add that you know, I think one thing that all kids can kind of take away from this that are looking at playing baseball or any sport really, but your willingness or your determination to bounce back from some of these injuries. You know, I think 95 to 98% of people would probably have already said, you know what, my arm's blown out, I'm done. You know, this is not, you know, I love baseball, but this is it for me. You know, I can't imagine you're in that small window of people, I think that really have that determination to continue on like you have.
I really appreciate that because trust me, it was very, very difficult. And I mean, just like I said, just being around my dad and, you know, just kind of what he's been through and just what he's instilled in me, it really was never an option to not find some way to keep going. You know, I never wanted that. I mean, I never wanted to be like, okay, this is it. Like I wanted to find any possible way at all that I could keep playing. So that's just kind of how it was. I'm not saying I did anything special whatsoever.
Sure.
It's that's just what I wanted.
Well, that's all you need. That's sometimes it's just the heart and the determination and the will to go through with it, that, you know, you already have the talent and the ability, but some people have that and they don't have the other. So you having the determination has helped carry you on, and when you're still at it, and we're hoping that that turns into some more success for you.
Like I said, thank you very much, because it was a tough road.
Yeah.
Well, no matter what happens this year, I think you have an amazing story that you need to share more. I mean, obviously, we're going to put you on the platform to share that, but
Yeah.
but to the youth of this game, or the youth that are trying to understand where their next journey is going to be, where the next step is, no matter what happens in 2023, use your story to kind of share with everyone else, or share with the young guys, because or the young gals who want to get the softball, whatever. You never know. Just because
Sure.
the adversity you've gone through and the fact that you're still there and keep pushing forward, some of these young kids need that. They need to know that there's opportunity for you there, no matter what you go through, if you keep fighting. So
Exactly.
I'm glad that your journey is continuing. We really hope for the best for you.
Thank you so very much, guys. Thank you. Like I said, I love to talk to all the kids about it, and it's I love kind of sharing what I've been through and helping them. So thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Scott. The episode 22. We look forward to, and again, we'll look forward to sharing your story. I think I got thinking as we were talking, and I think David and I would probably both agree with that. We'd like to keep track of how the season progresses for you this year, and where it leads you. So maybe we'll have you back on late in the year and recap things.
Sounds good to me. I hope I wasn't too bad. Like I said, this is my first one, so I don't know.
You did great, man.
Great job. Great story to tell.
Thank you.
So that was episode 22. Thank you, guys. Oh, one more thing. It's National Hat. One more thing. It's National Hat Day. And I wanted to just make sure I plug the Legends on Deck merchandise store. You can get one of these cool hats.
Or you get one of these shirts.
Or one of these shirts. And we have these ones in red, black, and a couple other colors. So enjoy National Hat Day, what's left of it. Signing off, episode 22, Legends on Deck.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.